Hi, I'm Teacher Oscar. I'm Math Educator from Colombia. I'm here to talk to you about our second new digital resource of Prime Mathematics New Edition, a complete math curriculum for grades K to 6. Let's go to Scholastic Learning Zone. Then we have to type our username and our password. Then we will find the two new digital resources for Prime Mathematics New Edition. In the last video, I explained about the Teaching Hub and how it works in order to deliver any lesson from Prime Mathematics New Edition using the new different tools of Teaching Hub. Now it's time to the digital practice and assessment. This is a digital component for students. This is to learn math. So let's click on digital practice and assessment. In here, the digital practice and assessment is a digital component in which we can assign practices and assessment for students. Firstly, at Home tab, we will find the progress bars of each of my students. Then, if we click on Assessments tab, we will find the different practices and the different assessments that I can assign to my students. Actually, students can practice every day because we will see many practices according to each chapter and lesson from the book or the course book of the students. Let's see an example. So I will click on the practice 1.1 from chapter 16, using fractions to describe 1/2 and 1/4 of a whole. So in here, we can find and we can check the different exercises, problems, and activities the students will do in this practice. So we will see the answers. Actually, we can see the correct answer of each exercise. So students will have the opportunity to click on hint option, and this hint option will help students to answer the problems or the different questions in the correct way. So in here, we can revise the different hints and if they are according to the explanations and the Prime Mathematics implementation that we have in class. After that we have checked all the problems and all the exercises in the practice, we will click on Assign and Unassign label. In here, we have the possibility to assign the different practices to all my students or the specific students that I want. Suppose that we have identified the students with difficulties in using fractions to describe 1/2 and 1/4 of a whole number. So in here, I can assign to these specific students who have difficulties with this topic. Actually, we can take into advantage this amazing digital resource, especially if we will continue in the school with a video learning model, in which students need to practice all the topics at home using digital components. Moreover, we can assign the amount of attempts the students will have in order to solve or in order to practice and take the assessments. After that we assign to all the students or specific students the different practices and assessments, we will click on Assign this practice. So the other possibility or the other tool that we have like teachers from the digital practice and assessment is the Reports tab. At Reports tab, we will find 3 different kinds of reports. The first report, we will have the possibility to follow up each student according to their progress bar. These progress bars are according to the answers of the different practices and the different assessments that they have taken. Now, the second report is according to the weaknesses and strengths of our students. So in here, the platform provides in red color the difficulties or the weaknesses of my class. For example, in this case, shapes and geometric reasoning, and in green color, the strengths of the students. This is really nice because we can make decisions according to this report. For example, in my case, I will assign more practice about shapes and geometric reasoning to my students. Another kind of report that we have in here is class result by curriculum stage. In here, the platform will provide pie charts in which we can find the students who overcome already the different concepts and the different topics, and also we will find the students who continue with difficulties in the different math concepts. Now, this is all about digital practice and assessment from a teacher's account. Let's see how digital practice and assessment works from a student account. Okay, perfect. Now it's time to log in digital practice and assessment from student's account. So firstly, I will enter my username and my password. Then I will have access to the digital practice and assessment. So in here, I will find two tabs like a student. Firstly, I have the assessments tab in which I will see the practices and the assessments that I have to take according to my teacher's assignment. So in here, I have the possibility to complete or start the new assessments or practices which my teacher has assigned to me previously. Do you remember that we assigned the practice 1.1 from the chapter 16 in the teacher's account? Now this practice appears in the student's profile, in the student's account, because students need to work on the problems from this practice. So let's click on the practice 1.1 and let's see the different exercises students need to do. So in here we have to click on start in order to do the different exercises. So firstly, we will see that the different exercises are about fractions because this is the topic which we are working on. So firstly, the first problem is select the figure that shows 1/2 shaded. So in here, I have to click in the correct option like a student, but suppose that I don't know how to answer this question correctly. So I will click on hint and I will find a short explanation which works in order to help, in order to answer this question correctly. So after that I read this hint, I can select the correct option of this question. Then I will click on next. Then select the figure that shows 1/4 shaded. So in here, suppose I'm really confused about this question, so I will click on hint and I will find here this help in order to answer this question correctly. So firstly, I have to click the correct option, which is the first one, and then I will click on next. Then we have this question, select the figures that show 1/2 shaded. So in here, I will click correct option and then we will click on next. So now let's see another kind of exercises that we can find in this platform. Let's see. So in here, in this practice, subtracting fractions with the same denominator, the purpose is to show you the different kind of exercises and activities students can find in the digital practice and assessment. So in this case, for example, again, suppose a student doesn't know how to solve the problem. Here he has the hint in which we can find a short explanation in order to solve the problem correctly. But the most interesting part of these different exercises from the digital practice and assessment is that we can find exercises about bar model, which is a special feature from Singapore's math, but now with the possibility to work on the bar model using technology, using this digital resource. Moreover, the students need to practice in the practice book. Both components are essential to master in the different math concepts. So after that we have finished already the different practice and assessments, I have the results tab in which I can see my scores according to each practice and each assessment that I have taken. In here, I can see my progress bar according to my score, according to each score that I have gotten from the different practices and assessments. And this is all the digital practice and assessment component. And remember, it isn't 1 + 1 = 2. It is 1 + 1 =